There's two paths ahead of us. And how you move forward in the next 6 years is going to determine which path you are on. Let's get into it. The sovereign path or the control grid? Which are you going to choose? Likely, if you're here on this video, you are pretty aware of what's going on in the world. Chaos ensues, wars, the dollar is low, interest rates are crazy high, food is really expensive. Everyone seems to be struggling on some level. And if it's not financially, it's definitely energetically. You can feel it in the air. Humans are suffering. What is this leading to? If you don't think that this is purposefully planned, stay tuned because I'm going to talk to you about how it was and what it looks like. So these two paths between the sovereign and the control are so crucial right now, because one seeks to entrap your soul and harvest your energy for personal use. The other is a reminder and a remembrance that you, yourself, and soul are sovereign and have ultimate authority of your path. One will be a lot easier than the other, unless you can look beyond immediate gratification and beyond immediate need and learn to trust yourself. The whole system we have been living in, the control grid that they have created in every facet of life, was purposely created to take your authority and trust outside of yourself and place it onto another. Just think about this for a second. The medical system, you go to doctors, they give you a pill, they shoot you up with jabs. To what end? Do you get better? Do you feel more aware and awake to your own body and health? Do you keep coming back for more? Feeling like you need over and over again, maybe get sicker even more over and over again when you're in that. The educational system. And we could get into history. We won't do that in this video. I would definitely seek to say that much of history has been altered. But the point is, all your teachers throughout school, were you ever able to question them? Were you told everything you needed to know without teaching you how to critically think, to ask your own questions, maybe seek a different way of doing things? Or were you told that this was the way and you needed to repeat, test, get grades, and that equals success? But does it? What about the government system? The laws that are passed? Do we really feel safe? Have we been led into multiple wars? Fellow countrymen dying? To what end and why? How about the food system? GMOs have been created, which after multiple generations causes infertility. Pesticides, which ruin your gut, cause cancer. Heavy metal toxicity everywhere, let alone that they're sprayed in the skies. If you haven't woken up to that yet, we'll do a video about that later. Organic being more expensive. And most of the organic produce that we see in the store isn't actually truly organic, right? We've all woken up to that. The dyes, the carcinogens. You could go on and on about the food system and how sick it has made humans and lowered our energy field and our lights in our bodies, purposefully done. Why would they be creating this control grid if it wasn't for a bigger purpose? Why are we so important to them? Have you guys ever sat and thought about that? I have. And as an intuitive myself who speaks to spirit and connects and gets information, I've definitely had some enlightening information come through. And one of the things which we're kind of seeing out there, starting to be really obvious, is this brain chip AI integration that they are starting to speak about and talk about and put out as to be some positive thing that humans will be able to, connect in and not need a phone anymore and have access to all the information via their own brain. But have you ever asked yourself, if I'm able to do that, what are they able to do to me if I'm connected to their electrical control grid and their Internet of Things or cloud? Right? So what I have under good authority via spirit is that these control grid that are coming down on us that will connect to, number one, the financial system, right? Likely going to go to CBDCs, food systems, etc., just like similar to what China has created, will actually take authority away from you and put it in their own hands. And when I say authority, I'm not referring to physical authority, though that will be a part of it. I'm referring to spiritual authority. Your soul. And what does your soul have? Energy, plasma. What do they need? What do they fuel themselves with? Fill in the blank. I just gave it to you. The importance, the utter importance of what we're about to hit cannot be stressed enough. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. We all now have to get strong and be courageous and start to leave these systems now. Why? Because when these things start to hit in the coming years, it's a lot easier if you've already bridged yourself over and started to acclimate to self-sovereignty. Things like growing your own food. Start anywhere. I don't care if it's one pot of something, right? Getting land if you need to. And if you're being called energetically, maybe you've had some dreams, and I myself have had this, so I can speak to this, about moving. And maybe you're being called to another state or to a different community or another neighborhood that maybe has a little more yardage, or another state that has more community or a lot more yardage. Maybe it's a different country altogether. Listen to that and listen now, because there are higher beings that are assisting humanity right now and helping you to try and get you to those places so you can be a part of that new system if that is something that your soul is calling you to. And some of us, it's not. But I'm not speaking to those people today. I'm talking to you who is and knows that you're being pulled to the light, to sovereignty, and you need to know how to get there. Or maybe you just need that extra little support or boost to remind yourself. Or maybe you need to send this to your husband or your partner if you have one. Say, look, like this is confirming the things that I know, like hear me. Because us females tend to be quite intuitive, and that's been something that's been for hundreds and thousands of years pushed down, pushed aside, minimized. But I'm here to say that we do have an innate ability, and all we have to do is tap into that. And that goes for both genders, just females happen to have it a little easier. So sovereignty with food, right? Maybe you can't stand what's going on in the school systems and you want to homeschool, but you're afraid, don't know how. I've done it. I can speak to that. You just have to start taking the leap and educating yourself on it. Again, moving systems, places of actual physical places that you're being called to needs to start happening. As well as taking your authority back in your hands when it comes to, again, your health. If the BGs of the world, if you catch my drift, plan, like they said, to have another disease outbreak, you better believe that it's likely going to be bigger next time. And he has stated so. So, in order to handle those things, they're going to, once again, put a lot of fear into the society and put out whatever it is that they want us to take. And I will say this, and this will be stuff that I will talk about in my upcoming membership community that I'm going to reopen and do now that I'm on this new platform and coming back out into the world after a few years hiatus of the work I do, is we will get into the nitty-gritties and the more specifics of these kinds of things that I can't talk about on this platform. But it's time to take more authority into your hands on your health and your family's health in order so that you don't feel like you have nowhere to go and you need a solution right now, right? And joining communities, whether it's online or in person, with people with this knowledge. Again, educating yourself, but more importantly, empowering yourself. Because that is the one thing they don't want us to do. They don't want us knowledgeable, and they don't want us empowered. Because when you know there is nothing that they can give you that you need, game over. Game over, right? So today in this video, I just wanted to encourage you to remember that you are your utmost authority. You are capable. And what's coming in the coming years will challenge us all. But those of us who are willing to do what's right because we know what's love will not let fear drive us. We will let love drive us. And we answer the call by beginning to bridge into the new space we want created and the new reality we want created for ourselves and our future generations. And I know we're doing it. But we can't wait. We've got to start somewhere. And this is your reminder.